Hi there, I'm Diane Callahan, developmental editor and YouTuber, quotidian writer. I'm here again with Hero Bowen, the co-writer on both Wish Hunter and Limelight Larceny, alongside Jordan Riley Swan. And Hero is a ghostwriter extraordinaire and having written over 150 books in her career, which is mind-boggling to me and many other people. And we've worked together for a number of years now, probably over 40 projects for different clients. And Hero's written like 100 other books for other clients beyond that. Wish Hunter's first book we've really gotten to fully collaborate on, where I outlined the book and I edited the book, and then she got to bring the manuscript to life with all her heart and soul in it. So that's so wonderful. And yeah, so I've been really curious to hear more about your ghostwriting life and what that's like. Like, how long have you been ghostwriting, and how did you get started with it?
I think I started in 2000 and end of 2016. So that's 4 and a bit years. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Like, what year are we in?
How many books a year is that? That's like 30 books a year. So
yeah, something like that. Over 30. Yeah, that's a lot. Things like that. Yeah, that's a lot of books. Yeah, so 150 in about 4 and a bit years. A lot of books. They're not all the same length though. Like, some of them have been novellas of about 30,000, and some are 120,000. Big boys.
Yeah, those are the ones that we were working on together. And like Wish Hunters, like it started about that length, then we cut it down to about like 108,000. But yeah, like all the books we worked on were all like fantasy series where they were all over like 100K. So
No.
so I'm glad you had some shorter projects to kind of give you a reprieve from that. But
I still don't know how I managed to fit all that in though.
I don't know.
It was like 2.5 weeks to do the first draft of 120,000 words, and then editing and whatever, and then I would be doing other books at the same time.
I don't know. Like, so what is your typing? What's your typing speed? Out of curiosity, do you know what it is?
I've never done it like on one of those tests, but it's quick. I can do, on a good day, if my brain is flowing at the same speed as my hands, I can do almost 3,000 words in an hour.
Wow. Yeah, that's
almost 3,000 words in an hour.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
That's quite a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. And I think that part of it too is that, like, you know, you're working from an outline most of the time, right? Although sometimes you're not, but so it's like you have some kind of path to follow rather than just having to like come up with everything on the fly.
Yeah, definitely with the projects we worked on together, it would just be following out an outline, but then a lot of the other projects I've done, it's like a really basic outline. So I'm basically coming up with it, typing and doing all that.
Yeah, just have to come up with all the characters' personalities and like all the little details and all that stuff. And so what got you into ghostwriting? Like, you had like a friend that told you about it or suggested it, or?
I sort of fell into it. So I was in a bit of a career slump, so I didn't really know what to do with myself, because I do acting, but that was not many auditions were coming up, and I needed to pay my bills and things. So I just sort of typed in writing job, because I was like, oh, I could do that. And then I like started with transcribing, and then I saw some creative writing jobs, and I was like, oh, well, I'll like just apply to that, see what happens. And then they recommended me to other people, and then it sort of snowballed from there, just getting lots of invites for proposals and things. And I was like, yay, I can make money out of this.
And
hooray!
Yeah, and did you primarily start on Upwork, right? Or like, is that where you found your first job and everything? Like,
yeah, so I found the transcribing jobs first on Upwork, and then when you just scroll through the jobs list, there was one for creative, and I went, oh, let's have a little looky see. And then yeah, so that was all through Upwork, and then I have some off Upwork now. Yeah, but they started on Upwork but aren't on Upwork anymore.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. Yes. Well, I think after 2 years, you're free from the
Yeah.
the chains of Upwork. No, but it is a really great job opportunity website too, because that's how I got my start as well. I actually started copywriting a little bit, like I wrote articles
Yeah.
for some of them, and then I saw like a developmental editing job, and I was like, yes, this is my dream job. So, yes,
That's how our worlds collided.
it is that. Um, let's see. And so, how much does ghostwriting interfere with your own writing projects?
Massively. Um, I'd be lying if I said it didn't. But in it's also taught me a lot about my writing. So I think it's improved my own writing because I've churned out so many books. I have a sense of what people, not just what people like, but also a sense of my own style and a sense of, what my strengths and weaknesses are, and then improving on those. So it has been good for my own writing. It's just finding time to do my own writing. So yeah.
So are you interested in like doing self-publishing, traditional publishing, or like do you want to be a full-time novelist?
Yeah, I do. And I would really like it to be traditional. It's just a dream, isn't it? Like it's the thing when you're an English student, you're like, if I walked into a library and my book was right there. Yeah, I'd like traditional publishing, but a lot of it's online now, and there's nothing wrong with self-publishing. I like self-publishing. Just I would like at least one project to be traditionally published. Although, have you seen the new is it Amazon Bella?
Yes, yeah, the Kindle Vella. That's a serial
Yeah.
publishing platform.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, you should jump into it. Why? Why it's
Yeah.
hot. I don't think it's officially launched yet, but yeah, I've seen
Uh,
other people talking about it and trying to get projects together for it. And yeah,
it's
we're
like
going back in time to the Charles Dickens era
serialized,
of
yeah.
serial fiction. Yeah.
'Cause it's like Wattpad and all those things.
Mhm.
Like, but they're free, aren't they?
They are, and I think that Kindle Vella is going to try to be more on the like professional author side, since Wattpad
Mm.
is very much like
And fiction.
yeah,
Yeah.
and people starting out, and it is very romance oriented, but
Yeah.
self-publishing as a whole is very
I
romance
have no
oriented.
issues with Wattpad, by the way. I think
Yeah,
it's good. Like,
yeah,
I
absolutely.
realized I just laughed when I said fan fiction. I'm like, no,
No,
I
no,
don't.
I'm
Fan
I'm
fiction is
very
good.
pro. Yeah, I'm very pro
Yeah.
fan fiction too.
Yeah.
And I think it also speaks to like the genres that you're ghostwriting primarily are like our romance,
Yeah.
fantasy, right?
Hmm.
Is any other subgenres or
Lots of period pieces,
historical? Is
like
it historical romance most of the time or
like
historical?
Highlanders, Regency,
Hmm.
Victorian. Yeah, all that bodice rippers, as I call them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And do you have to do a lot of research for those?
Yeah, but I quite like it. I'm a research geek, so especially with Victorian, I knew a lot already because of being a research geek, history geek. Um, so yeah, I like the research. I really like the research.
I know you do. You research so much with like Savannah for Witch Hunter. I was so happy because I was very much wanted to have that as a setting, and so yeah, and it definitely comes through. I had to cut some of my favorite references though, but yeah, definitely in the I could tell that
Did
you
you have to get rid of the dog?
I did have to get rid of the dog. It was
No.
there's a Midnight in Garden of Good and Evil reference that it was like I was like maybe I should keep it in there just for like our own gratification.
Yeah.
But it is a very niche reference. But so what are the three biggest lessons that you feel like you've learned from your ghostwriting career?
Know your worth would be the first one because that took me too long to figure that out. Um, like not getting paid for certain things and probably not getting paid nearly enough for the initial work kind of thing. But because I didn't know any better, it's just, you do it, don't you? You're like, I've got bills to pay, so yeah, that's fine. Um, take breaks to avoid burnout. Like I think this was the first year that I had it, but that was because I stopped. And I think if I hadn't stopped, and I didn't stop through any like fault of my own kind of thing. It just, There was just a thing, and I had to stop doing so much work, and then burnout came in, like, taking a long break, I see. So it's just sort of, it took a while to get back out from that. So taking regular breaks is good, but try not to take breaks that are too long out of it, because it's hard to get back in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
And then just get it done. It's a job. If it's ghostwriting, which you should care about, like you should care about the story that you're telling, of course, like, but just get it done. It's a job. It's not your personal piece that you can take a decade to write. It's it's very much a job. So, and I know that sounds really harsh, just get it done, but it's the best piece of advice in my own head. Like, go on, get to your keyboard, do it, get it done, then have a break.
Yeah, and I think that's very freeing, and I think that it's honestly like with writers in general, I think it is very helpful to just like get the first draft out and then know you can revise it. And especially like in your case, you have like editors who are coming in and being like, here's how I want to shape it to be what we're going to publish. So it's it's definitely, and it's kind of funny too, because when you say that, it's like I've never really read something of yours that feels like half-assed. Like I just, because like I think like whenever I edit your stuff, like I find like one typo like every 50 pages, and I'm like, how is that possible? But yeah, so it is very impressive. So I think that your version of slapping something together is probably different than other people's version of doing that. But yeah. And I wanted to know, like, what to you made Wish Hunter different than other projects you've worked on, since that was our like I could tell that you put more into it than you would for any other project.
What surprised me is that I was slower with it, but that's because I was treating it more like it was my own, or like that a part of it belonged to me, whereas previously none of it belonged to me. Like, no matter how much heart and soul I put into it, no one will ever know that it's me.
Yes.
Whereas for this, it's like I wanted it to really like come from a personal place and be like, maybe like just step it up a level from previous stuff, because I'm like, I want it to be something like great. So that's why it felt different, because it felt like part of it belonged to me. And because it was with you, and it's like it was your mind, my mind, and Jordan's mind, everyone's mind. Yeah, it was good.
Yes, it was really magical. And and I didn't mind that it took longer, because like I always have to, like, I'm such like a slow editor sometimes, so it did help with that. And and I could tell that like every chapter is like carefully crafted, and so it was a lot of fun to do together. And I knew your style would be perfect for it, and it was. So I was like, yes, writing something. So it's almost like it was like a book like I wrote with you in mind as the writer. So that was also something that was interesting. And, and so what advice would you give to someone else looking to get their start as a ghostwriter?
Oh. Be sure it's something you want to do. Be sure you can cope with nobody ever knowing it's you. Especially when you see projects that are very, very successful, and knowing no one will ever know it's you, which is one of the hardest parts of it. But it's also, it does take a lot of brain power. It's not always really well paid. So for something that is, I would say, a unique job that requires a lot of skill, just make sure you do know your worth, and you do ask for a raise where you see fit, but just make sure it's something you really want to do. Like, you might think, oh, but I want to write stories. It's like, yeah, but you won't be writing your stories. I don't want to be really negative about it, because I do like ghostwriting. I like my job. I do like my job, but that's because I know I like doing it. I like writing other people's stories. I like creating other people's stories. But just make sure that's something you're comfortable with, and that you're going to be happy with. And know your worth. Know your worth.
Yes, it's very true. And yeah, because I applied for a ghostwriter job once, and they like offered it to me, and then I like chickened out because I was like, there's no way I could write that fast. Like that was really
Oh,
the big thing. It's like
that's another point. Yeah, good
you
point.
gotta, yeah, you gotta know your own strengths and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like you gotta know that you can do it. Like just don't assume that just because somebody's paying you to do it that you'll magically be able to do it.
exactly. But some of the turnarounds are in an ordinary publishing world would be like, what?
Mhm.
Like, so most of the time I'll be turning out each book will have like a sort of a month to 6 weeks. Not with this one, but a month to 6 weeks deadline on it. And so it is a lot to get done, and it has to be done on that deadline because these people are like putting the books out
Yeah.
like a month
Yep.
between each other, like, and that's fairly standard for any kind of trying to think of what to call them.
I call them book farms, but
yeah, like any kind of company, you'll find that they want to have a book out every month to 6 weeks, and that's not necessarily the book you're writing, but they want to have it in reserve for that. So
yeah.
make sure you're as quick as you think you are as well.
Yes. 'Cause, yeah, they really do. They use that rapid release schedule, and like, and the readers are voracious too. Like they're like,
Yeah.
when's the next one coming out? I'm like, we just released one. Like, can you just chill for a second? I mean, it's good. It does speak to
Yeah.
the addictive quality of it. So it's, and then what about anybody who's looking to hire a ghostwriter? Like, would you suggest they look in a certain place? Are you available? Because I feel like I'm going to get that question a lot. Like in the comments will be like, can we hire Hero for a
I
job?
mean, if the stories are right, I rarely say no, which is my weakness, is that I rarely say no. But if people are looking to hire, Upwork is a good place to. But I think they've started charging people to apply for jobs, which
Yeah.
nay. Although I don't kick me off Upwork. No, but yeah, Upwork is a good place to start. I hear Fiverr is good. That was 2 hours. Fiverr.
Yeah.
Yeah, those sorts of places. Or if you know, word of mouth. If you know someone, I'm sure Diane knows lots of people.
I'm widening it because with
Yeah.
Story Garden, we've been looking for more like co-writers, so their names also appear on the books. And then one of them we found on Upwork, and the other one I sort of just found through like researching and just digging deep, because it does take a long time to find like really quality writers. Like I've gone through a lot where I was like, oh no, like when I when I get their sample, like every paragraph is like one sentence, and I'm like, I don't think so. So it is like a tough job, and it is hard to find like a ghostwriter that you can really trust and who's affordable, because most ghostwriters, the really professional ones will charge like $60,000 a book.
I know, right? Who knew?
I know, you're
I lost my mind when I saw that. I was like, what have I been doing?
Yes, it's true. You have undercharged a bit.
I'm so affordable. I'm so cheap.
Yes, exactly. And just such high quality. It's like, I don't know. You have the speed, the quality, and the price. So I don't know. That's like, you're not supposed to be allowed to get all three. So but there it is. But yeah, so I just find ghostwriting to be really fascinating, and I think it's really more common in fiction than people think. Mainly with like self-publishing companies or like indie things, but like James Patterson is all into that. Like but so we have the links for Wish Hunter below, which is one of your latest collaborative writing projects, but your name is on the cover, which is what makes it different from your other ghostwriting things, because Jordan's really big about giving people credit where credit is due. Like he never likes to take credit for anything that he didn't do himself. So it's fair enough. But so we hope to see you next time in our story garden.